Welcome to another episode of Humanly Plausible. Now, welcome your hosts, Roly and Richard from Pink Studio Central.
Okay, good. So with us today we have Doug. So before I ruin everything of what you do, I'm just going to let you do a quick intro.
What if I ruin it?
Well, then that's your bad. Then you can't blame me for
that.
it.
Then
it's on me. Yeah. So I'm the president of Lexington Rose Consulting. We are an operations management and fractional COO firm working with mostly small to medium-sized businesses, mostly service-based businesses, medical practices, legal, IT, insurance, financial services, things like that. So helping businesses optimize operations, cut out the fat, improve margins, get rid of the general clunkiness that often forces a lot of business owners to work 14-hour days and not grow. So we try to
So the word fractional, because it gets used a lot. I don't think there's a lot of people. There's folks out there. I don't think they know what that means.
Sure.
So can you break that down for them, just in case you might be a good fit for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So fractional, there's a lot of people. There's fractional COOs. There's fractional CFOs. Fractional essentially means you're paying somebody for part-time work. So instead of making the investment of hiring a full-time CFO or COO, which often comes with a really heavy six-digit salary, plus benefits, plus taxes, plus 401k contributions, all that kind of stuff, you're paying for somebody that's got that kind of experience and pedigree for essentially maybe 1 day a week of their time or 2 days a week of their time. So you get the firepower without the price tag, and it's a compromise for businesses. A lot of businesses just simply can't afford to hire somebody like that full time. So they get somebody that's of a higher caliber than somebody that they could afford full time on a part-time basis.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of something that we're always talking about. As far as there's when we're working with some clients, there's deficiencies in these areas that we feel that they just have the wrong people in the wrong place. And I feel that these fractional opportunities are huge because in the world of marketing that exists. Well, you mentioned and in the different areas of a company, and so I think that this is something that in today's time, I think it's very important that we can use somebody like you to jump in there and take care of the big stuff. Or companies are evolving, getting to the next stage, and you could potentially be leading the way forward to that position of full time.
And it's different than consulting. I think it's important to highlight that consulting is different from coaching. A coach is somebody that really helps with strategy. Yeah. A consultant is somebody that comes in and does the tactical, practical work. So I'm rolling up my sleeves, getting in there and saying, not only do I see this problem or this change that needs to happen, but I'll go in there and either do it with you and your team, or I'll do it myself for you and your team. That kind of thing.
One of the things that I think, and hopefully you agree, is that there's a definite benefit of coming in with sort of fresh eyes and not being embedded in the company, so that you can look at things agnostically and be very objective in your solutions.
Well, that's our pitch. That's what we say, at least.
Absolutely.
So if you say no, then you ruin everything.
No, absolutely. No, you hit the nail on the head. Part of my value proposition is nothing more than just being outside the fish tank. Right. The looking at the fish tank is so much different than being inside it. That just having that outside perspective is priceless in and of itself, but then you tack on the skill set that you have, and it makes all the difference.
And in your experience, how do companies get in their own way?
They lose the balance of working on the business and working in the business. I mean, everybody's resistant to change. There are a lot of businesses out there, and you change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, right? Right. And for businesses, 100%. And business owners that are making a good living doing what they're doing, they want more and they're working for more, but they don't necessarily see that there's ways around it. There's a lot of people that say, well, we're doing it this way because that's the way we've always done it and it's been working. And it's working, but how much better could it be working if you did it a different way? So it really comes down to mental capacity and time. Most smaller businesses, their principals are so busy working in the business that they don't get to spend a lot of time retooling, and they want to avoid the pain of retooling. Because it's hard. It's not easy.
All right, that's it. No more questions because we went too deep already. So I think if you want to learn more about Lexington Rose and Doug and what he does, I encourage you guys to reach out to him. We're gonna have his info here on the page and the company URL again, just for the folks.
LexingtonRoseConsulting.com.
And there you go, and there it is. So we're gonna move into the box now because this is where it gets heated.
All right,
not heated. Let's do it. That's the wrong word.
All right, so
I'm excited. I love surprises.
Brother Doug here is gonna reach inside the box, and we're gonna see. Exactly.
So once again, these are AI generated. We did not make them up.
Random.
Am I reading it?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
What is the impact of user-generated content on brand perception and advertising efforts?
Ooh, that's a great question. Almost as though a marketing or a content creation company.
It's surprisingly.
So
what is the impact of user-generated content on brand perception and advertising efforts? So
I was going to say, let's look at Lexington Rose.
Let's do it.
Great company, okay? How could content that you generate impact your brand? I guess.
How could content that I generate impact my brand?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it could sink it or it could lift it. I mean, it's you can either position yourself as a thought leader, or you could position yourself as desperate and incompetent, depending on the way that you come across.
But you know something? Ideally, what you said first is really the goal of user generated. Yeah, it's really thought leadership is huge because it builds trust and credibility. You know?
Well, yeah, and so I think this is it's a great question because it makes relevance to what we do. So as far as brand strategy, brand development, because before we do any of that work, the biggest part is discovery to understand truly what you are. Because I think from the user generated side, ultimately truth is exposed.
Right.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. And that's kind of where I feel like things kind of just fall apart for companies that are not presented or the strategy's not set up the right way, because then we go down a road that's not really them. Right. And when the real content starts happening, you have the user generated content, and then you start getting testimonials. Things just don't line up, and so there's just big fragmented areas of the brand here.
And it's so. Content is so easy to create. User-generated content so easy to create
in today's world,
on a whim that you could just you do the wrong thing and you're cooked, or at the very least, like you said, there's this incongruence in the way you're perceived.
And it's challenging because us as advertisers, we struggle in this arena for ourselves.
Yeah, the time making the time to do it and the focus on doing it. But I think especially like. Even as we started our conversation about Lexington Rose today, I mean, there's so much out there that you put out, or like, for example, a lot of times what we realize is people don't know they need you until you start generating the content and they start saying, wow, that would be helpful. Yeah. How come, are we using AI? Are we doing these things? So you actually, by this thought leadership and this content creation, really start having people start to ask, do I have a problem that he can solve? You know, and
and the best prospect is going to be somebody that, at a minimum, can admit that they don't know what they don't know. So we're all looking for those types of people, and I think those are the people that have the best capacity to grow, especially as the pace of change quickens and generational changes are happening, and baby boomers are retiring, and their millennial children are inheriting their businesses. I think there's a little bit more willingness among younger business owners to like understand that they don't know everything.
Right. And so I think, with this user, with user content, generating this user content, like
you brought it back. I like it.
Yeah. So no, what I'm saying is like, it's important. Like the reason why I've always struggled with it, because I just can't let anybody just do it in the company. Right. So there has to be a strategy first, what is it that we're doing and how we're doing it? Because the big key here is perception.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, it could go wrong.
It's the only thing that matters. Like at the end of the day, I can spout whatever I want from the mountaintops, but it's what my viewers think of it that It's going to matter more.
And then to Richard's point, like it's almost like we need it, because if you're not out there engaging, then there is no perception. Yeah. The perception is that you're out of business.
Right.
So whenever there is a big like stagnant like time for us that we're not communicating anything, people just assume they close the doors.
And I think also the consumer and client landscape is changing in the fact that if the only time you communicate with prospects is through ads, it almost becomes I'm building just an initial transactional relationship, whereas I'm communicating with you with user-generated content on a regular basis. I'm developing a relationship with you, and it goes back to Gary Vee's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, in which he talks about the jabs are a bunch of user-generated content, and the right hook is when you want to make a transaction with them.
That makes sense. Yeah. So how would you recommend small businesses go about that? Like, do they need to just put their cell phones away and stop until they have a strategy? Or
it's a good question.
That's an awesome question, because once again, I think, and there's a lot of it based on our experience. Mm-hmm. You have to schedule it like you schedule meetings.
Yes, sir.
It needs to be that high of a priority, just like you wouldn't miss a finance meeting, just like you wouldn't miss a staff meeting. Mm-hmm. Content creation meetings should be a regular thing that you do. Creating an editorial calendar with whomever's going to be responsible for publishing this stuff. So those are just some just very basic things that you need to do. Roly?
So 100% what Richard is saying, but it's like when I first started 15 years ago, I kind of assumed different roles. Like I had like this thing that I did, like kind of role playing with, in the sense of like, okay, right between these times, I'm going to be the accountant.
Yeah.
Between these times, I'm going to be the marketing.
You're wearing
person.
all the hats. Yeah.
Between this time, I'm going to be doing new business.
Yeah.
And so typically my day was divided in half, where like my mornings were always new business.
Yeah.
So it's always about, reaching out, talking, networking events.
Yep.
This is it too. So like the marketing aspect of it, to Richard's point, is about cultivating. And these days you have no excuses, because you don't technically need an agency to start.
Not at
if
all.
you're small, you got AI. So ChatGPT could put a basic calendar together. I mean, the biggest thing is that if you don't really have a strategy, at least you want to know what kind of makes you unique.
Yes.
So, and then kind of start building off of that. Well, for the most part, like, to keep it simple, like let's say you're all about having that one-on-one customer relationship.
Yep.
So you can start building a social content calendar based on just that idea. What does that look like? What does that mean? Historical, kind of comparisons of the past versus the future. How does it, where are we going? And so you can start to build a lot. But the problem with most entrepreneurs is that we don't put that time in.
No.
The time that we put into is the work. It's the work.
Yeah.
It's what you love to do.
It's working in the business instead of working on the business.
Right.
So,
and then one last thing I would say, you don't have to be perfect. And I think that that's something that's also leads to procrastination or delaying starting to generate your content. Oh, I'm not good in front of the camera. Oh. When you look at when we did our first podcast attempt to where we are now, it was night.
You should look at it.
It was
there.
It was.
I should or I shouldn't?
Yeah,
well, you should. No, I mean, it was funny because, if you see it, it was very pretentious. We really thought that we were like these newscasters.
Yeah, we thought we were like,
well, at least I did. I'm not gonna speak. Richard was better. I was just like, I had my notes. I had my notes. I was like, hi, my name is
hi, I'm Rodriguez,
and I'm the CEO of blah.
So hold on. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe that like no press is bad press, and that bad content or not perfect? Like, what's the difference between bad content?
You ask good questions.
Yeah,
what's the difference between bad
should
content
be running this show.
and
I know,
imperfect
right?
content?
We're on Doug's show now.
Well, listen,
but these are I think these are things for him now.
It's your show, but this is your area of expertise.
Yes,
and so I think it's.
But
I'm asking for
it's that old adage about all press is good press, just because people are going to notice you. I don't think especially in today's culture, because when it can go bad, it can go really bad, and that's when you have to bring in the crisis management people. I think being natural and maybe stumbling over your words or saying something that's just a normal mistake actually humanizes you. And that's why the big staged productions are less attractive to today's consumers, because that organic vulnerability has currency.
So I think here's a simple technique, because I'm thinking about you now and your journey and your new venture. I think that what I would suggest to like a 1-man or 2-man like kind of operation to start, and that you're starting, I think first of all you need to understand what your unique value proposition is.
Sure.
Figure it out. Hire somebody, do it on your own, but you got to do it. And then your values. What are your true values? And I think that has to be posted somewhere in your office so you could see it. Because anytime you're going to post anything and you're going to write anything, you say, is that who we are? Is this saying that is, is that valid? Is this validating that? And I think if you at least have that level of measurement, you should be all right. Because to your point, like, I think if you're not saying anything, you're not doing anything. That's kind of the way.
Gotta say something.
Yeah, you gotta say something. And you gotta be, whether you're starting a kind of a LinkedIn kind of networking and posting that way, or whether it's Instagram, what you feel is going to be relevant to what you're doing, I think you have to start doing something. It could be YouTube. Listen, we one of the realtors that we just hired, I hired him through YouTube because since this is going to be a long distance purchase, I needed to see a lot of video. So I needed him to do a lot of recording, and this dude on all his postings, a lot of YouTube. And so for us, he was just constantly showing me the area. Oh, look, this is the neighborhood plaza. And I'm like, wow, this guy. And so
that's cool.
Yeah, and YouTube, just because I always say this, YouTube is not just a video platform. It is a search engine. It's the number 2 search engine behind Google. So having content on YouTube is equivalent to having more robust regular search on Google and more of a presence. So just little shorts and things of that nature that really connect with what you're doing and the value you bring to people. It's worth the investment of time and energy to have that content in some kind of integrated strategy.
I feel like there's so many small businesses out there that you say, what's your USP, your unique selling proposition, and what are your values? There's so many small businesses out there that they know it on the inside, but they can't really turn it into 100%. Words, and they stumble over it.
And that's why we still have a job.
That's what keeps us in business.
That's why we keep working, because that it's true. Because again, people really identify themselves like for instance, like at a networking event, you'll have 1,000 lawyers, accountants, and they'll get up there. Oh, my name is John Doe, accounting services. Hire me if you need your accounting done.
Yeah. Crickets.
Well, then you have the next person. Hi, my name is Henry. So how do you make a choice between those guys?
They're forgetting about the unique part.
Right. So sorry. So the whole unique part is what. So when you get up there and you start talking about what they always say is you start with your why, and that's how that people can identify themselves with you, because they're buying into your story, not what you do.
Yep.
So, I mean, any final thoughts? Because that's kind of already we ran the segment. Wow.
We actually appreciate your questions, So
tables are turned a little bit.
Tables are turned, but because of that, I think we get some really good information out, and we shared some great, and want to continue to hopefully see a great success for Lexington Rose, and we'll definitely want to have you back and see how things are going.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think as a last mention, I think if you are a small company or a large company, and brand perception is not a responsibility to you, you should make it, because that's ultimately your brand equity that you're kind of ignoring. So that's something that you definitely have to pay attention to. Build a plan. We talked about some simple quick fixes. So I think ultimately it's something that has to be addressed. And if anything, a person has to be, assigned to it. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's my overall thought on it.
And from my perspective, just final words, you have to be prepared to execute. Because if you can't, when you and I have had conversations about this, if you get the people in the door and don't know what to do with them, or when they get there, or can't do it effectively, you're cooked.
You're done. So there you go. You heard it from Doug. We're going to have his info.
Absolutely.
Man, thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate it.
I knew you'd be great for us. Yeah, so we're going to have his info on the website. Stay tuned.
Open your eyes.